Welcome. Another quick early stream. I know that nobody really watches these live this early, and most of you just watch the replay when I go live this early. So it might just be another short, quick live stream, like a quick market update. Again, if we were getting more movement in the market, there'd be more to talk about, but we've been in like a 0.5% range on the S&P 500 for the past week. So just doing these like quick update streams, really trying to just hit the key points so you get the gist of what's happening in the market. And once we start getting more price action, I'll probably start doing like the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock streams that are like an hour long again. But right now it's mainly just quick updates on what's going on. And yeah, Bitcoin, third time in a row testing the breakout. And this level, I mean, honestly, at this point, I know that this was my first resistance, but I'm just going to simply move this line up. All right. You were testing a breakout level and then you just kind of created a new resistance just above it. So I'd say 38.5K would be the ascending triangle breakout for Bitcoin. Ethereum really didn't change today, continuing to test the $2,000 level. The US 10-year, I'm going to just extend this wedge out. The US 10-year continuing to sell off, kind of started this downtrend with this bearish engulfing candle, and at least in the past week. And your next support's around 4%, so cooling off there. The US 2-year testing the 200-day moving average as we speak. And moving into metals, which have been one of the key focuses this week. Gold, slightly higher again today. Really good volume on gold. And like I said, 2068 is your next resistance. It was just like 2 days ago we were looking at this 2006 level breakout. And you're well on your way to the next resistance at 2068, which is this high from May. And then this high from March of 2022. And let's see, silver, a little bit of a shooting star candle today, but a nice start to that move after your breakout. And then the metals and mining ETF, XME, continuing to test this $54 level of resistance. Dollar currency index continuing lower. Don't really see much of any pattern here. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere for right now. So not much to talk about there. And finally, Hang Seng Index, another failed breakout attempt. It's going to extend that supply line higher. Retesting lows of the year for Chinese stocks right now. All right, so that's really the quick update on what's happening in other markets. In terms of the US stock market, you went a little bit higher on a gap up today. Then you hit 458, which you can see is the top of my zone on the daily. Now, the reason for that is because you have some highs back from February of 2022 at this level. So you hit that, and then you kind of had a large rejection. I mean, it's not that much, it's not a huge rejection, but for how little volatility we've seen in the past week, it's kind of the most you've seen, which was like a 1% decline, to yet again close right around 454.5, which is pretty much where we've closed all of our candles in the past week since we got up to this level on November 20th. And I wouldn't say this is much of any textbook candlestick pattern, but my viewpoint on how the market looks remains the same. And that is that we have a bearish shark on the daily. Your MACD is losing positive momentum. Your RSI is overbought. And it does look bearish in time for a pullback, in my opinion. As long as you continue to hold under 458, I think the bears can kind of recapture some control, maybe taking us back down to 441 before the year ends. And then we'll see what happens after that. On the 4 hour, really no difference. On the 1 hour, I want to look at this. I'm going to move it a little bit. In the last pretty much hour of the day, you tested the breakdown of this pattern you've been in for 2 weeks. Since November 14th, you've been this slight ascending broadening wedge. This is a very real pattern. You have 3 touches on your top trend line, aka your supply line, and you have 3 touches on your bottom trend line, aka your demand line. And you did break down at the end of the day. Tomorrow it's going to be interesting to see if we get some fall through price action and crack the key level, which is 454. If you crack this support, could see some actual selling taking place for the first time in a while. All right, now we have the QQQ, which put in new highs of the year this morning, kind of reversed in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't really at any level. I think it was probably just a SPY started reversing, and then this did as well. If we go over to a 1 hour time frame on this, I'm going to change this pattern a little bit, but it's pretty much an upsloping channel. You have not broken down yet on this one, and you're simply at the demand line. So tomorrow morning, it's going to be key to watch whether this breaks down and whether the SPY breakdown actually shows some follow through price action. Then we have the Russell 2000, which retested the 200-day moving average today and printed another shooting star candle. This is a very similar formation to what we saw on November 15th. All right, but you did pretty much the same exact thing again today. And then finally, ARK ETF, another shooting star candle on the daily. So you might start to see a little bit of a pullback in some of these mid caps and growth stocks, which have been on fantastic runs. A good example is Coinbase, which put in its pretty much worst day in some time and closed with a doji candle. It was a flat day, but again, there are some names like this where they could just pull back a little bit now before going higher. So keep that in mind. Don't FOMO into the top of rallies. Wait for the pullback, see how the variables start to react to the pullback and take it from there. And in terms of the swings today, Zoom went slightly higher. What I do like about it, it's also another shooting star candle. But what I do like about what Zoom did today was it finally closed over the 200-day moving average. For the first time since October 2nd, in almost 2 months, this is your first close above the 200-day moving average. The Zoom swing is in profit right now. Riot got pretty close to hitting the first target today. The swing is currently up 19%. I like how it's above 1258. Take a look at this high and these highs over here. Hopefully it can remain above that. Today it did successfully backtest that level. And Mara hit the first target today, was almost the exact high of the day. It was 10 cents lower than the high of the day. But Mara finally hit the first target for a 24% profit. This was alerted to everybody in Discord and on X. And for the last 2 weeks on stream, I have not stopped talking about this chart, and it finally hit the first target. So there you go. You do have some resistance here around 13. Probably important to note which way this Bitcoin pattern breaks out, okay? And then finally, Lyft. It was up more at one point today, but had another green day. The swing just pretty much went from doing nothing for 2 weeks to now in 2 days being up 12%, and at the high of the day, almost at the first target, up 16%. Really good movement for Lyft. And Lyft is lifting for right now, so hopefully it continues to do so. It's about halfway to the first target of the swing. And last night on stream, we talked about AMC and GameStop, and AMC did create this bullish shark on the daily. It also has classic bullish divergence and a slight double bottom on lower time frames right at all-time lows around 650. Today it gapped up a little bit and then went higher intraday. It ended up closing up 7%, and it's your biggest volume day since November 9th in almost a month. And GameStop closed up 20%, even though it was up a lot more than that at one point. 1547 is the very key level here, and it was able to close above it. So keep that level in mind. Hopefully, continue to hold that. And that's AMC and GameStop. Let's go through some other tickers on my watch list. Tesla finally got up to test the supply line of this falling wedge today. Did get a slight rejection off that level. One thing that's possible is that this might not be the point in which the wedge breaks out. If we start to see a pullback in the market, it's still possible to drop back down, maybe retest the 200-day moving average, and then go for the breakout test again. But nonetheless, it is on breakout watch, because really any day that it's up over 2-3% could be a breakout test, and does have that weekly inverse head and shoulders. Amazon kind of doing nothing but continuing to hold above 145 breakout level. Microsoft, first pullback pretty much, or 1% pullback. Close to a bearish engulfing candle, but not technically a bearish engulfing candle. And you would think that at some point this will start to pull back a little bit, maybe retest the breakout, because it has gone up about 20% in about the last month. Nvidia was slightly green, but pretty much just retesting this 475 zone, I think on the 1 hour or something. It has a little bit of a wedge forming. Looks something like that. So that is something to keep an eye on. It's like a bull flag. and that's pretty much also lining up with the daily support. So that is something that's definitely going to be on watch. Apple, bearish engulfing candle, reacting a little bit at the pattern completion zone of this bearish cipher. Google down 2%. We've been talking about that hidden bearish divergence and the rising wedge into that 139 resistance level. And today you did pull back about 2% with the bearish engulfing candle. You do have a downside gap fill at 134 on Google. Keep that in mind. AMD shooting star candle on the daily. This also might start to create, or it might have already created a bearish harmonic. Let's see. It's pretty much a bearish cipher as well. A lot of these large caps, just like the SPY, look like a bearish cipher or bearish shark on the daily. And that's pretty much it. AI went up a little bit again today, third time testing the $31 level breakout, and it was not able to do it again today. This does look pretty similar to Mara and Riot, right when they were hanging out like around over here. Like you can see that little higher low price action into the 200-day moving average. AI is doing something very, very similar with that little higher low price action around the 200-day moving average. All it really needs to do is clear like $31, $32 and hold it. And it really doesn't have much resistance after that up until the 40s. So that's what's going on with AI. We looked at Beyond last night to get a breakout test of this like mini descending channel it's been in. It's not really a pattern, but on like lower time frames you could probably see it a little bit easier. Palantir tried to get back above the $20 resistance level. It was not able to do it, and then instead painted a shooting star candle on the daily. And that's your flash market update for today. Again, just doing quicker streams because there's not a lot that can be taken out and analyzed in these market conditions. So whatever data we have to talk about is really all I can talk about. One last thing I'll do is look at some of the weekly watch list names, see if any of them look like they could turn into swings. Neo still just kind of testing support. EWZ still under resistance. GDX, oh wow, this was a pretty good day for it yesterday, up 5%. Looks like it broke above the $30 resistance, and this inverse head and shoulders broke out as well. So GDX is making a move. SLV, it's been a good start to the week, but just painted a shooting star. And then Win is unfortunately selling back off, not really showing great price action recently. So we're gonna end it on we're gonna end the stream on one stock, which is, where is it? There we go. Can you tell what it is? So let's end the stream talking about Fisker. I'm gonna do it old school for today. All right, we're gonna talk about Fisker, which closed pretty much around all-time lows. It's really just trying to find some support here at 180. It's been holding this general area for a few days now, so this is really a key level for Fisker. It's also relatively testing the demand line of this downsloping channel. Not much of any harmonics here. Well, let's confirm that. Yeah, not really a harmonic here, so it's oversold. It's retesting its lows. If we get onto like very low time frames, you can see this is the third test of this level. It's up a few cents after hours, so it's really just a question of can it continue to hold this area, maybe get a triple bottom, and then if not, we'll see where it tries to find the next support level. All right, thank you for watching the stream. Have a great night. I will be live trading in premium tomorrow morning. It's the pin chat. If you're not in premium, you can join it, wap.com/championvibe. And I'll see you all in the morning, and I should also be live again tomorrow night. See you there. Hopefully we get some more price action to talk about.